Welcome, everybody, to another rendition of The Lone Wolf Show. I'm the Lone Wolf, and we are broadcasting live from the Witchcraft TV semi truck. A little bit of sun glare there, but nonetheless, we have a special guest presenting at WitchCon 2026 starting on February 20th. Make sure you get your tickets right now and also keep it right here on www.witchcrafttv.online. Right after this intro, we'll have our guest on. Cait Johnson, presenting at WitchCon 2026. How are you?
I'm great, and that was a really fun intro. I wanted to howl along. I love to howl.
we love howling here on Witchcraft TV. I just love the whole platform. I
Yeah.
love interviewing all these magical, wonderful witches from across the world. That's going to be on the largest online stream of witches in the world. Isn't that so exciting?
It's the best. This will be my third year presenting, and I've loved every year. It's just been great fun, and the people are wonderful. So kind, so warm, so open, so magical. Oh, yeah, it's a great experience. I recommend it highly enough.
So, is this your first year with WitchCon, or is it
No, this will
more
be my third.
third? So, when did you first hear about WitchCon? How did you get involved?
That's a really good question. I heard from Christian. I don't know how he heard about me, maybe through my books, which are still selling. Some of them are. So, yeah, the minute he told me about it, I thought, this sounds wonderful. And indeed it is. It's the most sweet and open community of people with wildly differing backgrounds, which is really fun, too. It's not just, a narrow kind of thing, it's really broad and beautiful.
So you're the author of Witch Wisdom for Magical Aging, Finding
Yeah.
Your Power Through the Changing Seasons, as well as five other magic books. Is
Yeah,
is
I've
the
written. Yep.
is the Witch Wisdom for Magical Aging, is that your best selling book?
No, actually, that's my most recent, so it still has a little ways to catch up.
What's your most
I
successful
think my
book?
best selling, a toss up, it's maybe Witch in the Kitchen. Yeah, Witch in the Kitchen or Celebrating the Great Mother, which I co authored with Maura D. Shaw. Those two are still selling really well. Of course, so is Witch Wisdom. So, yeah, and there's also Earth, Water, Fire, and Air. It's a little elemental book. That one isn't selling as well, but it's a lot deeper than some. So, and every book I write has just been such a magical process and journey for me. And it's always a reflection of kind of where I am. When I was a young mother, that's when I wrote Celebrating the Great Mother, which isn't just for people with children. Also, a lot of adults use it just to sort of get into the craft. It's a good way to be introduced to, the holy days of the year and things that you can do by yourself or with your family to celebrate. And then I was really interested. I love to cook. I'm a bit of a kitchen
So
witch, truthfully. That's where Witch in the Kitchen came from. I wanted to restore a sense of magic and the sacred to cooking and eating. Because, yeah, for some of us, you just like toss a burrito in the microwave and call it dinner. And I don't think that's so healthy for us, for our souls as well as for our bodies. So it's a way of sort of going through the seasons with seasonal food and meditations, rituals, how to make your kitchen a magical space, that kind of thing. So that's really fun.
so who are you published with? Are you self-published, or have you
No,
published with
no, I was
different
lucky. My
publishers?
very first book was published by Harper San Francisco, and that opened a lot of doors. That was tarot games, because I'm a tarot person as well. I tell the cards, I do the cards professionally, and I've been doing them since I was 16, so it's a long time. Anyway, that was the first one, and then after that, I got picked up by Inner Traditions, and that's pretty much who I've been with. This one was with a different company, but Inner Traditions has done all my other books, and they're wonderful. It's a great mid-sized publishing company with a really good heart.
So, what do you think was your most challenging book that you wrote?
Say that again. You
What
were
was your
breaking
most
up.
challenging? What was your most challenging book that you wrote?
Oh, probably the latest one, The Witch Wisdom for Magical Aging. I was taking care of my very aged father at the time, and so finding time to write was a challenge. And I had aging right in front of my face. I mean, not only my own face, but my dad, who lived to be 99, and I took care of him for the last 3.5 years of his life. So, yeah, it was a challenge because of time constraints and because of, exhaustion, because I was doing a lot of caregiving. But it was also really empowering, and just like all my other books, it's extremely seasonal. So there is a feisty witch for each season that helps women to come to terms with their aging and even enjoy it. It ain't for sissies, I can tell you that. You're young, I'm not. It's really, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that comes along with aging that isn't easy, and yet it's also so freeing and so empowering. You just don't care so much about the same things you cared about when you were young. So yeah, it was an adventure. That was Have you written any books?
I haven't written any books, but I'm published in a few different metaphysical and witchcraft magazines.
Great.
And those are online and in print. And I think my biggest publication was I wrote some articles for the Journal of Progressive Human Services once it was published.
Oh, that sounds impressive. Have you thought about writing a book? Because I think you
Yeah,
probably ought to.
yes, I definitely have. And a good friend of mine, Patrick McCullum, said I should do it now while I'm still middle aged. Um,
Yes,
and
right.
I really need to. I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah, well, you know what? It ain't over, when you're over 60. Honest to God. In fact, in some ways, you're just starting out in a whole new way. So, yeah, I mean, it's never too late, but do it now if you can. I think the time is right. Is it true? I heard, and I think it's true, that witchcraft is the single most fast growing spirit path in America right now.
Well, I've definitely heard that, but
Yeah, me too.
from 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 research, from what I gather, pagans and witchcraft in general, and that covers many different umbrella terms on the planet, is
Right.
about 1.5 billion. And
Wow.
but when you research active listed pagans or witchy folks in America, it's still less than 1%.
Oh, that doesn't make sense. Huh.
But 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 fast and growing. I mean, I've definitely heard that before. I guess it's
Mhm.
depending who does the statistic.
Yeah.
So
Why
I'm
do you
not.
think? Because I believe that it is growing quickly. So what do you think it is about paganism/witchcraft that attracts people so much?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with equality. I think that
Mm.
humanity may perhaps is sick of the patriarch.
Yeah. Especially
I,
now.
I,
Things are
I don't.
not good.
I think
Yeah.
perhaps just people are tired of that, or and I think that the new wave of technology with the internet and such, knowledge is a lot more easily accessible. And then when you start piecing archaeology and geographics and cultures in different time periods under one screen and one mind, I think that it kind of pieces all of the theologies together and says, wait, does it? Don't the witches already do that?
Yeah. Right.
So I
Exactly.
think,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
Also, I think it has something to do with a longing for direct experience of the sacred, and something to do with wanting to be part of nature again, because we've gotten so divorced from it. And I think for me anyway, part of the pagan path or the goddess path or the witchcraft path is feeling very much at one with the seasons, moving through them with great devotion and grace. So, and I think that's something, especially if you live in a city, that's hard to do. I lived in New York City for a while, and it's not easy to feel like part of nature when you're surrounded by concrete and stone and glass. It can be done, but yeah, it's so soothing to feel like you're not separate and isolated from others, from nature, from whatever your conception of the deity is. I mean, I'm obviously into the goddess, but also I honor the god as well. It's nice to be talking to a male witch. I take it you don't call yourself a warlock, right? Do
Um,
you?
I, I don't call I don't identify as a label as a warlock. No, I don't. And I think that we all wear many, many hats, and I think that witch is a very comfortable skin.
I like that. You know, people get freaked out when they hear the word. There have been too many B movies made over the years, painting witches as evil and horrible, not to mention fairy tales where, the wicked stepmother is a witch. But I think that we're reclaiming it. And one way that I've learned to do it when people look at me cross eyed about being a witch, I just say, no, it's earth honoring. It's the way many indigenous cultures lived on the earth with a sense of reverence. And then they go, oh, well, okay. So they don't automatically see the green face and the nose wart.
So we were talking about the patriarch earlier in the interview, and one thing that I like to teach my students, Cait, is that Mother Earth and Mother Nature will never lie to us, and that's why
Oh,
I'm pulled to the nature-based spirituality. For
mhm.
your first 2 years, the first two WitchCon presentations, what did you teach, and what are you teaching for this
Let's
class?
talk about what I'm teaching this time. It's a subject really
Okay.
near and dear to my heart, and it's how to defeat your creative vampires. Because we all have them. Sometimes they're inside us. Those are really insidious, but they can be defeated or made into allies. And it's really troublesome when your creative vampires are the people that you live with, or your loved ones, or your relatives. That happens too. Your friends and relatives can be terrible creative vampires. So it's a whole way of it. A lot of it actually is covered in this book, but it'll go even deeper than that. It's ways of coming to terms with your creativity so that you can begin to express it without holding back, without being nervous, without, usually hobbling yourself, because we all do it. Oh, I shouldn't, I'm no good, I'm not good, I can't do, we all have those voices in our head, or we hear it from others. Well, what are you talking about? You're not qualified to write about that. What, huh? No. So this is about empowerment. And I actually think that it's an overused word, but I believe that's part of what witchcraft offers people is a path to empowerment, to trusting your gut. You said you're right that the planet never lies to us, neither do our bodies, ever. If you want to know the answer to a question, should I do this or that? Ask your body. It will know. Absolutely. And because we are so, joined with nature and the planet, it kind of makes sense. So, yeah, I believe we are all born with the capacity to be creative. I think we are when we're children. You've probably heard this. If you ask a group of kindergartners, right, how many of you are artists? They all raise their little hands. Well, come back in third grade. How many of you are artists? Well, maybe one or two really brave ones will say, I am. What happened? Well, it got beat out of you by the school or the culture or your family or whatever. But we all start out being highly creative. It's not a precious thing, it's something that's common to humanity, just as I think insight and intuition are. And again, that's something that paganism offers is a way to hone that ability that we're all born with so that we can actually do good with it. Do you agree? You do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember reading that one book where it says everything I needed to know I learned in kindergarten.
Right? Yeah. It's probably true, actually. Yeah. I mean, some children are so fortunate. They get to go to schools where they're taught to problem solve, they are taught to follow their passions. That is not my experience of most public schools. They want a little cookie cutter, you got to learn this, this, and this. And who cares if that's not where your heart lies? You've got to be a good little robot to join the workforce and to spend money to keep the economy going. Yeah, no. So I think that paganism offers a different way of being, both with your children and with yourself. And yeah, it all kind of goes back to creativity, trusting the creative process, because I'm really into that. I love living creatively.
You said that you were reading tarot cards at 16. When did you start embracing earth based spirituality? How did you find that path?
Well, I met my first real witch. Listen, when I was little, I knew there was more to witches than the cultural thing. I knew it. I just knew it. I was always reading books about witches. Even when I was like 9, 8, 7, I was really fascinated. But I met my first bona fide witch when I was maybe 20, 21. And that's what started me on the path. She was a really wonderful teacher, a little formal for my taste. Everybody had to wear robes and you had a script. And I'm like, yeah, no. To me, the ecstatic experience is central to how I practice the craft. I love the idea of drumming and sounding until you're taken out of yourself. So yeah, I have an acquaintance who was diagnosed with a pretty advanced form of cancer. She tried everything. She went to John of God. She went to various healers. She did this. She did that. She was healed because she found the ecstatic path. I think it was in Brazil, where there was lots of drumming and dancing and getting out of yourself, and it healed her. My feeling is that cancer hates ecstasy and it thrives on stress and fear. So anyway, I'm really into that. But she was a wonderful teacher. Her name was Jessie Christensen, and she's taught a lot of people. And it started me on the path. But then I kind of broke away and started my own. It's like we called it Howling Coven, haha, lone wolf. Anyway, and we did lots of drumming and dancing, and oh, it was great. And bless her heart, she joined, so she was part of it too. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. What's your favorite Sabbath?
Oh God, that's hard. Well,
Samhain doesn't
Samhain, of
count.
course. You
Say
know,
that doesn't count.
yeah, Samhain, right? Everybody loves Samhain. I also really love Yule. At Christmas,
Yeah.
okay, it's fine, but to me, the whole Yuletide season is just filled with. I really love winter. I've learned to embrace winter and love the idea of wintering, of going sort of into a deep hibernating place where you just light candles and you're cozy with yourself. And the idea of celebrating the light return is funny to admit, but there's a part of me that's not ready. I'm not sure I want the light to return yet. Not metaphorically. Please let the light return metaphorically. But yeah, I love the long, cozy nights. So yeah, probably of course Salamander and Yule. Yeah, they're great. I also have a special feeling for Imbolc/Bridget's Day because I she's my goddess. Do you have a particular deity that you really relate to? Because I think that's a really lovely thing to do is find one that really speaks to you that you relate to.
Hermes and Thoth.
Okay, well there you go. For me, it's Bridget
Yeah,
all the way.
I really adore Bree as well.
Yeah.
I really like that. My priestess gave me Bridget's cross as a gift when we first met.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, she's terrific. I love triple goddesses, and the fact that she's a goddess of poetry, smithcraft, and healing, or just crafting and healing. That, yeah, I can identify with that. I write poetry too, and I love to make things. That's one of my creative paths, one of my spirit paths. And yeah, in my way, I would never call myself a healer, but that's the whole point of the work that I do with individuals. I'm also a counselor. So yeah, Bridget's it. I have heard it pronounced breed or bride or yeah, whatever. I don't know. Bridget works for me.
So I can't get this question out of my head. You read tarot
What?
cards since you were 16. Do you read the cards or do the cards read you?
Oh, the cards always tell me. I don't. I mean, I had a teacher once who said, "All right, right now it's my personality speaking. Don't listen. Wait until the cards are speaking and then listen to that." So yeah, the cards, they are the deepest keys to your own deep soul that I know. And they never lie. Just like the planet never lies, just like your body never lies. The tarot, some of the cards are a little scary looking. Well, hello, life is not all sweetness and light, right? But the wonderful thing about doing a good reading is if it looks like something bad is going to happen, it will show you what to do to mitigate it or avoid it altogether. And that's the point. I don't do predictives. I think that's, pardon my French, but I think that's bullshit. If everything is, set in stone, what's the point? Let's all just jump off the bridge. The point is, if it looks like there's going to be trouble ahead, what do you do about it? Well, it'll tell you. And sometimes the cards have a fabulous sense of humor. I'm sure you know that, right? Do you do the cards yourself?
I have a few decks and I've worked with the tarot for a while, particularly when I was studying the Golden Dawn magical tradition. But
Sure.
it's not something that I do a lot because a lot of
Hmm.
my time is consumed with pagan and witchcraft media.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, I do the cards every day as a way of setting myself up for the day. They give me a little heads up, they tell me what I need to be aware of. They help me to feel comforted, which I think nowadays is especially important. Things are not so good in the world right now. And I think that we need to give ourselves whatever we need to be functional in a difficult world and to do what we can to make things better. Easier said than done, but there it is, right?
I definitely agree with you that the current political administration is oppressive for the trajectory of witchcraft.
Hmm.
And with that being said, still, even though there's a lot of oppression from the outside of the craft, there's still a lot of infighting in the craft. And this is
Hmm.
historically from England in the early days of Wicca. It's historic with the Texas witch wars of bookshops, and now the infighting with media on particular platforms. What do you think about and witch wars in general? Do you think that they're ignorant? Are they necessary? What's your opinion about that?
Well, I'm really saddened by it, to tell you the truth. I mean, for goodness sake, we get given so much crap from the outside. Why are we doing this to each other? And I guess that's what I love about WitchCon. There's none of that. It's like every path is welcome and honored and respected. I'm like, can't we all just do that? Or do we have to model this bullshit about war? Oh, we always have to be like, why? Come on. Yeah, that's what I'm lucky because in a way I'm pretty isolated and out of that loop. I'm not important enough in the witchcraft world to warrant anybody wanting to make war on me. I'm grateful for that. But no, come on, we can model something very different, I think. And I think it's honest to do that. And again, that's what WitchCon does. It just models how to be embracing of all different paths. And I bet you agree, right?
Absolutely, I absolutely agree. So in the chat room, people like your personality. They want to check out your books. One person had said, "I need to check out these books," and that's Christine, who's also a WitchCon presenter, and Lindsay, who's is from I think she's out there in the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken, over
Oh,
across the
nice.
pond. And let's see, my next question is has to do with a lot of the people that are on the path that say I can't find a teacher. I really want somebody that teach me that's not full of crap and
Yeah,
things.
a
If
lot of
if
that.
people are fortunate enough, and however they come across you as a teacher for them, what's one
Mhm.
of the first things that you teach new seekers that you would
Oh, to
teach?
trust their heart and to
Trust the
be
heart.
outside more. I know it sounds really simplistic, but I believe that the simple can be very deep. I think it was Van Gogh or Van Gogh, if you want to be pretentious, who said that. I mean, I think that there is simplicity and it doesn't have to be all frou frou. There's no one way of doing it right if you're a witch. It's about trusting the seasons, trusting the earth, trusting your body, trusting what your heart tells you. It's fun to work with metaphor. That's actually where I live. Fairy tale, folklore, metaphor, imagery. That's why the tarot speaks to me because it's based in all those things. And it's an image that you can really sink your teeth into. Dreams. I encourage people to write down their dreams and sit with them. Not to buy a "What Your Dreams Mean" book because that's total nonsense. Only you can know what your dreams want to lead you toward. And I think moodling around with the imagery that you get in ritual or meditation, we do a lot of deep meditation work with my clients. The imagery that comes up can be made manifest in your life, and that's a lovely way to take hands with your spirit and deepen your own craft and your own practice. So I guess if I were going to boil it down, I'd say simple is good. Trust your instincts and trust the images that come to you through the deep work that you do. And the good news is you don't have to have like a personal teacher. I mean, I was lucky because I did have one, but I've been reading up on witchcraft for a while before then. I found Starhawk early on. And Vicki Noble with her mother piece, that was a huge teacher for me. So, look around. There are 5 bajillion witchcraft books out there now. Mine are some of them. But yeah, trust what comes to you. I have a friend who was in a bookstore and a book literally fell off the shelf onto him. And he's like, wow. And it changed his life. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in synchronicity. I was that what you wanted. I don't know.
Synchronicity, it's a word that I often use and try to analyze. What's your take and definition of what synchronicity really is?
Well, I believe that we're so connected with the all. One of the things that I love teaching people, this was taught to me by a Celtic shaman who also has written marvelous books, and his name is Tom Cowan, Cowan. He taught an ancient Irish tradition of omen gathering. And you can do it in a really formal way, but you don't have to. I just take little omen gathering walks, and all you do is stay open, all your senses, not only what you see, but what you hear, what you smell, and then you write it down, and then you go home and you noodle about what that may have meant for you. Again, no cut and dried meanings. You just see where it leads you. But what it tells you is that there is a greater power than you that's kind of paying attention if you pay attention. I believe we are being given messages all the time. But for most of us it just kind of goes over our head. We're busy. I get that. So to take a little time every once in a while to go out seeking for what wants to come to you, to teach you, that is synchronicity at its finest. Can I tell you a really silly story about that?
Yes, please.
I was going through a very difficult relationship breakup, and I was telling a friend on the phone, sometimes I just feel like I need scuba gear. I need to dive down below all the waves and the storm and the drum. I need to go somewhere quiet and deep. Okay, so fine. So then later that day, I take an omen walk. My neighbor must have been cleaning out her basement because there is scuba gear sitting on the doorstep. I'm like, I can't believe it. You can't make this stuff up. That was a message to me. It's like, yes, you need to go deep. Okay. Get past all of the waves and the drama and go deep to your own core, which is usually very quiet. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of stories like that about omens that nail it on the nose.
And my last question of the interview, and thank you so much for coming on the Lone Wolf Show on Witchcraft TV.
My
What
pleasure.
is your what is your advice to new witches or spiritual seekers, occultists, magic people of all kinds? What's your advice to them?
Oh, I just say welcome. You're on a wonderful path. It's going to be a rich path for you. It's going to lead you deeper and deeper to your own soul and your own soul needs. You can become part of a marvelous change in the world that sorely needs it. And it's just fun. I mean, that's the other thing. Have fun. Don't get too tied up with trying to do it right, doing all of the spells in the right order and with the right words and all the right ingredients. I mean, that's great fun if you love that kind of thing. But more, it's about just trusting who you are and what you're meant to be doing and how you find the most joy in your path. That's my advice.
One last question. What's the best way to get a hold of one of your publications?
Oh, they're everywhere. They're on Amazon, of course. We know Jeff Bezos is the devil, but they're on Amazon. They're in local bookstores. That's the easiest way. Barnes and Noble. I mean, they're all over the place, which is really it's lovely. It's been fun to have a place to put what I want to share with the world and have it be received. And that really is one of the wonderful things about doing what you love. If it's received, there's a heartwarming quality to that. And I think you will write a book. That's what I think.
Thank you so much for your inspiration and all that. I really want to write a book if I could find the inspiration. At any rate, make sure you check out Cait right here on WitchCon February 20th through the 23rd. She'll be presenting. Thank you so much for coming on the Witchcraft TV network, the Lone Wolf Show. Make sure you keep it right here, www.witchcrafttv.online.
Thank you. This was fun.
Everyone.